what we do is we don't have a target for the exchange rate. We do have assumptions for purposes of the budget, but that doesn't constitute a target. What we want to happen is for the exchange rate to move based on good economic fundamentals. And I can explain what those fundamentals are. We would intervene if the exchange rate moves against those fundamentals. So let me explain what the fundamentals are. There are global fundamentals. Uh, there are two main ones when it comes to global fundamentals. One is what the U.S. Federal Reserve does. When the U.S. Federal Reserve tightens, that tends to strengthen the U.S. dollar, and it weakens all the other currencies. So it's not as if it's the peso that moves by itself. All the other currencies will move when the dollar strengthens. Every other currency will weaken. That's one fundamental. Another fundamental is when there's tensions or there's uncertainties anywhere in the globe, and that makes investors move their funds into the US dollar. The dollar has become the single most important safe haven currency. It's where investors go whenever there's risk, whenever there's tensions in the Middle East, in the South China Sea. And it would look like the peso weakens, but actually it's the dollar strengthening and the other currencies getting weak. So those are the global fundamentals. For the Philippine fundamentals, I would say there's three main ones. One is inflation. If our inflation is higher than it should be, then the peso will weaken. There's, of course, the balance of payments fundamentals. In the balance of payments, we have the strength of exports. Strong exports are good in terms of keeping the peso stable. And then we have the other inflows. The big ones, the other inflows, the big ones are remittances and BPO revenues. Those are the big ones in terms of the inflows. We call these service exports. And these two items, remittances and BPOs, are much bigger, for example, than foreign direct investment inflows.
Sir, recently, as we mentioned, that the dollar exchange rate has been favorable to us just during the past weeks. So what drove that to happen? Is it income earnings were higher, let's say for production and growth? Can you explain to me why it went down? Because
Yes.
what do you call this? Traditionally, explain also, every December, people spend a lot. There's more people going out and buying gifts, etc. So that will probably drive inflation. But at the same time, there can be more remittances coming in also from abroad. So traditionally, tell me, by the time the holidays roll in, is our exchange rate favorable or not?
The exchange rate the peso tends to strengthen during the fourth quarter, which includes.
So if that's the case, then we're on track with this GDP growth for the year.
Yes, and
I mean, in so much as inflation, I mean,
yes.
in so much as the exchange rate is concerned.
That's
How
right.
about inflation? How is it usually during the holidays? It also increases, correct?
When we measure inflation, we take out the seasonal factors.
Oh, that's not factored in.
That's not included in the numbers.
Is it fair? Okay. Because anyway, we're going by volume because the activity anyway is more. People go out more, and so by taking that out, you're just basically averaging it